Alright, once again, good morning to all the parents. So, welcome back to another episode of us sharing about leadership parenting. Alright, and we are so glad that to have Daniel today with us in this morning. So, just a quick recap on what Daniel has shared in the first session. Three main roles of parenting will be to lead, to coach, and to pastor. And the last session, right, he mentioned a little bit on the aspect of to lead. To lead, right, one key important things that I have picked up will be all of us, we have our unique identity role, such as you as a father, I as a teacher, and more. And we mentioned about through workspace, how do we use the concept of work-life integrations and to integrate the leadership role in the parenting context. Right, so that will be something that we emphasize about during the last session. And right now, today, we are going to talk about the second role, which is to coach. Alright, so without further ado, without me talking, Daniel, the floor is yours. Can you please brief us on the topic itself, to coach?
Okay, thank you very much, Samuel. And good morning, everyone. Thank you for being with us once again on this parenting session, which I personally find it really enjoying sharing about this and learn together. So before we start, I would like to share a recent story that I've experienced with a billionaire's daughter.
Wow.
So let's not name who that person is. So there was once we were at this the heart of Kuala Lumpur, and at the very it's a very fine condominium, high-end condominium, and I realized I noticed that this lady, she was helping us to clean up the whole place, and they are billionaire. They are from a billionaire family, and the daughter, she personally cleaned up the place and let us have a comfortable stay. So when I observed this, I quickly dragged this lady. I told her, I said, I need to talk to you. And we were at the balcony. We went to the balcony, and I asked her a question. I said, do you know that you are a billionaire's daughter? Do you know that your dad is actually a billionaire?
Yeah.
She was laughing and she said, yes, I know. And I asked her, do you know that your dad is very rich? She mentioned that she's aware of this. And I told her that, what caught my attention is that you are a billionaire's daughter. Your dad is so rich. However, you are able to remain so humble and so down to earth, and you even clean up the house for us to stay, where you have so many maids available to help you, so many helpers available. How could you achieve that? I wanted to know. I'm really interested to understand how is the parenting style that result in such positive outcome, and that itself is a goal. As for me, my children are very young, and for me as a father, I'm very interested to find out how is the parenting that will lead to this outcome. And that is why today we are going to talk about the parenting as a coach in order to coach our children.
So that is a very amazing stories, and indeed is very powerful.
It is.
Now, we understand that the key to achieve that is about coaching. Alright, can you elaborate more on that? What do you mean by coaching?
Yeah, so if you try to Google the definition of coaching, from the Wikipedia, it will tell you that they will describe coaching as providing training and guidance.
Okay.
This is not accurate at all. The focus here is actually for parenting as a coach. Parents as a coach is that how do we function differently in this people development.
Okay.
So the whole focus is on the people development business as parent. And to me, that is one of the most crucial responsibility as a coach. And in order to help us to understand this better, we'll consider three different roles. First of all will be teacher, and the second will be coach. The third one will be a mentor.
Okay.
And we will look into the individually on the aspect between teachers, coach, and a mentor.
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, let's look into a teacher. We are very familiar on how does a teacher function, okay? And we know that a teacher is, they give, most of the time they give instruction, it's quite directive, the way
Yes.
the teacher teach the class. And their focus is that they focus on making the individual to learn the basic concept and the key points to create a certain process. So a teacher will have to create an environment that allows the students to make mistake without causing much harm, without much consequence. So it's a safe environment for them to try out and to make mistake, basically. So from what we understand about a teacher, usually it's in a school, right?
Yes.
And we have usually we have a classroom setting with a large audience. In Stella International School's case is that we have maximum of 25 students in a class, and a teacher will have a syllabus or a content to cover, right? And the purpose is to share the knowledge. We try to break down the knowledge in a simple and interesting way so that our students could understand and that they are able to pass the assessment or the examination. So as a professional, you are a professional teacher.
Yeah.
So can you explain to us an example of how do you actually explain a concept in a class? As for today's purpose, because we're going to talk about parenting, let's not looking at the academic aspect, maths, science, and so on and so forth. Let's focus on a soft skill example.
Sure. I think regarding on this matter, right, probably a bit of background of me, my expertise will be in early childhood education, whereby we basically focus on kids who is below 6 and even more challenging, perhaps I will meet it in this way. Right. So when it comes to context, right, it reminds me of a lesson that that we have actually came up with in our leadership program in Stella Preschool. Right. So back then, I created a lesson which focusing on the value persistency.
Persistency, okay.
Right, but come to think of it, probably parents will be wondering, man, my kid is just 3, how am I going to break this down to them and to help them understand? Now, the entire important process of this is to how do we intentionally create a platform, an experience perhaps, to help the kids to understand. What do I mean by that? In that particular lesson, right, with the theme of that will be saving a rabbit. Right. So I plot down the entire story, telling the kids, say, look, today you got to save a rabbit. But before you can save the rabbit, there are a lot of obstacles. So intentionally, I make the obstacles is so challenging that for the kids to run through. So there are, of course, during the lesson, there are a couple of kids saying that, look, teacher, I'm tired, I can't do that, teacher, I'm afraid of a height. Just me because of I make it intentionally. So from there, as a teacher, I have to switch my role into a facilitator to tell them, look, what is your goal of doing all this? If let's say you give up right this particular moment, right, what will happen to that particular rabbit? So from there, right, they are able to complete the task and save the rabbit. Then only we talk about persistency, so that they are being able to relate. It looks so real and so concrete to them. That is one of the examples for us, how do we break down information and talk about concept in early childhood education.
Excellent. I'm so glad that my son is in your class. So from what I'm hearing, because persistency is a value that doesn't come automatically by lying on the bed and you can persist through, but it requires effort that you go against the nature, and that's why you're creating a series of obstacles in order for our children to experience and persist through, focus on the common goal, the end result.
Yep, you're right.
Right? So that is very good. It's a very good example of a teacher. How does a teacher explain the concept, the key concept to our students? So that's on teacher. The second aspect that we are looking at is a coach. So unlike a teacher, a coach, it's non-directive. Instead of giving the direction, a coach will ask questions,
Correct.
right? And they will hold the person that they are coaching to be accountable of their own future, and they will help them to unleash the full potential.
Yes.
And very often a coach happens in a real world setting. For example, now we have this Olympics, right? Now Olympics is going on in Japan. So very often a coach will have to bring a team over, and they're concerned about the function of the team as a whole. And a coach will have to consider the skill of the players, the strengths, the weaknesses, and how do they put them together. And the team dynamic, so that they could figure out what are the performance that they need to work on. And very often, a coach that they are coaching, they're facing a very unique set of situations. So it's really beyond the concept that is in a classroom setting. And most of the time, he or she will have to adjust as per the situation. And the coach role over here is that he will help the person or the team to adjust the performance based on the situation that he's experiencing in order to improve the efficiency. And we all know that, Samuel, we all know that you are actually also, apart from teaching, you're also coaching the kitchen team. So based on the same value that you teach to your students about persistency, can you give an example of how do you coach a team, the concept of persistency?
I can't agree much more on what you have shared. The idea of coaching is to how do we introduce the concept at difficult times to elevate the entire performance of the team. So for us in Silent International School, we have our own kitchen because we wanted to provide the quality food to our kids. That's why in this pandemic period, right, it actually hit us a lot because the school there's no kids, and we have a team of chefs to take care of. At this period of time, we couldn't just lay them off because they are precious to us as well. So everybody was so negative, a bit, I would say, depressed because the entire situation, we can't help it, but it's indeed is challenging and it's affecting them as the fundamental type because we are talking about survival. So quickly, what we have done over the months will be we put a team together. We have to tell them that, look, no, this is not the end of the day. We got to do something, you see. So we actually taught them we discussed about how do we see opportunities rather than, issues in this period of time, and how do we tap on that opportunity to elevate the entire potential of the team. Hence, we actually converted our kitchen to food delivery services. Yeah, so we are proud to say that we have successfully converted our kitchen to a club kitchen based in East Kanta area. So that right now we are providing food to multiple families. So from there, the team see the hope.
That is a very real example, and to me personally, this coaching session is very successful and it is very powerful because we are trying to help the team to see the opportunity beyond the obstacles and to achieve the full potential that you believe in them even more than they believe in themselves. So that's how powerful a coach can be. Now, we have talked about a teacher, we have talked about a coach. The next thing will be a mentor.
Okay.
A mentor is also very powerful. It's a powerful way to develop people. And very often a mentor has a one-on-one relationship with a mentee. Now, the way we mentor people is a whole lot different from a teacher and a coach, where a mentor, they actually invest a lot of the time in the mentor's goals and interests. and the purpose, and they are interested in the well-being and the growth of the mentee. Okay, so a great mentor himself, he usually he has the knowledge, experience, and expertise that is relevant to the development of the mentee. And on top of that, he will need to have the interpersonal skill in order to effectively share this piece of wisdom with his mentee. Now, the mentor's role is to help to create a picture of the future and what is the path to get there. Now, the mentor doesn't just talk about concept, not talk about key points. So that is where it is also different from a teacher and a coach. But a mentor discuss on the personal value, find the emotional balance through the individuality. So dive deep into the meaning in life by creating a picture of the future, as what we have mentioned again, to help the mentee to see who they want to become. And here is a key. The key is that a mentee must trust the mentor. Hence, it is the mentee who look up to the mentor, who trust that the mentor could guide them, who trust that the mentor enough in order to be vulnerable and approach them to journey with them, and not vice versa. It is not that the mentor will have to go and look out for mentee and say, hey, I'm going to be your mentor. So that is the thing, the aspect that it is important in order to make the whole mentor-mentee relationship works and to be effective. And that is what we have covered about a teacher, coach, and a mentor.
Wow, Daniel, that's very powerful. So you basically shared about the three main characteristics in coaching. So we have a teacher, which is being directional, saying that, hey, look, this is right, this is wrong. And we have a coach. To coach, we got to use questionings to scaffold our team member, and we talk about mentoring process. The key of mentoring process will be trust, to invest the life, invest the time in the mentee. Right. Now, Daniel, how do we intentionally integrate these three main characteristics in today's topic, parenting?
Yeah, so that is a very important aspect. So as we understood the how to differentiate between a teacher, a coach, and a mentor. Yeah. Now we need to understand our children as well, and in order for us to apply on our parenting. So we know, most of us know that we could actually classify our children's development into stages.
That's right.
So for the children at the age of 1 to 5, they are actually at the discipline years. Okay. So during this period of time, we teach them. We teach them like teachers. So you see, we don't have the knowledge of everything. So sometimes we will have to work with other teachers. For example, we want them to learn a foreign language. Yeah. We want them to pick up a music instrument. Yeah. So we need to hire and work with a school or a teacher on that aspect. But as for parents, we need to teach them about the consequence of behavior at the discipline years, when the children are at age 1 to 5 years old. Yes. And for me, there are three main values that I want to teach our children about to help them to understand the concept of obedience, honesty, and respect. And it has to be consistent. So just now when you mentioned about the concept, how do you deliver the concept of persistency to the children? Like for me, I've also been ongoing, consistently teach my children about the consequence of behavior and want to celebrate obedience, honesty, and respect. And then I have 3 children. All 3 children, they have different roles they have to play. For example, for my eldest son, Aiden, I have been consistently telling them and reminding them about his responsibility as the eldest brother.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
In Mandarin, we call 大哥. You're a 大哥.
elder brother.
Yeah, eldest brother. So, I often ask him, what is your responsibility as eldest brother? Of course, he wouldn't know. So I have to tell him, your responsibility is to take care of your younger sister, your younger brother, as how I take care of you. So, how to further define, take care of them, how share things with them, and so on and so forth. And sometimes, take one example. When the second brother is trying to, now he's at the stage where he is trying to learn how to wear his clothes. So sometimes he faces some challenges, and I will send my eldest son Aiden to go and help him out to wear his pen. And you know, the second brother, he's often a bit cheeky, and he'll be trying to play around and refuse to listen to the eldest brother. But the eldest brother got the concept of responsibility. So he came to me, and this is very real. He came to me getting a bit upset. He told me, "Dad, it is so hard to be a brother."
That's very Aiden.
Yeah.
How you look? Sorry, yes.
Yes, of course, I'm the father. So I gave him a hug. I told him, yes, it is hard to be a brother. It is always challenging to have the responsibility to take care of others, but you have done a great job. So I reassured him that, look, let's support one another and let's work together and make this work, okay? And we will celebrate, you know. I say, you have done a great job, you know, you deserve a reward, you know, because you have done your part to be an elder brother. So we will celebrate that when they achieve the obedience. In this case, it's trying to be obedient. When I tell him that your responsibility is as an eldest brother, we will celebrate the honesty and we will celebrate respectful. On the other hand, we will try to discipline them when they are disobedient, they are dishonest, and they are disrespectful.
Yep.
So that's because all of my children are at this stage, age 1 to 5, discipline years. And then later on, as they move on from 5 years old to 12 years old, will be training years. For training years, we will have to teach our children on the why behind the what. What is it? Why are you doing this? We explain to them while training them. And we help them to connect their behavior to the broader world and explain to them about the consequence and what the life is like of certain behavior. Now, when they are at the age of 12 to 18, they are entering coaching years. So this is where we need to apply the coaching skill on our children. And very often, a lot of parents, they find that this is the most challenging season of the development of our children, because they started to have their own thoughts, they started to have their own gang, their preference, which might be different from what the parents have. And we, during this phase, during this season, we do connecting more than correction. So basically, we are like a coach. We are trying to coach our children at home, and we would allow natural consequences. So we explain to them in the training years, tell them that, hey, if you behave like this, so what's the consequence? And you have to bear with the consequence. And at coaching years, we will allow our children to try out the natural, to make mistakes. Of course, in a safe and controlled environment. And we make space for them, because otherwise they will be suffocating. Now, this is a long journey. This journey is going to be long, from 12 to 18 years old, even though it's just a few years. And it's crucial.
Correct.
From 18 and above, the development will be friendship. So during this period of time, a parent and a child will be more like a friend. Rather than a teacher or a coach or a trainer.
Yeah.
So during this period of time, our hope is that our children will still want to come home, even when they don't have to. And here is a key. As a dad, I mentioned that a lot of us, we have a tendency that we go passive when we are home. And if we are passive during the disciplinary and training stage, we are going to face a lot of challenge when we are at this coaching years and friendship years. So when our kids are 18 and above, if we have the trust, if we have the bond with our children, they will look up to parents as mentor.
Definitely.
They will have to come and approach us. Dad, I'm having this problem. How should I go about it? And this will be far more effective than us going over and tell our children when they are at the friendship years that, hey, you should not do this. This doesn't work. And they won't listen to us. Because they have their own set of values and their own set of way of doing things which has been formed. They have achieved certain level of maturity. So that is where different phases we need to use different ways of parenting style.
Okay, that is, wow, amazing. So from what I understand from these sessions, the unique role of the parent, perhaps a father, is important. It is our call to plot, to plan the entire directions.
That's right.
That's
what I believe in.
That's, for example, when your child grows up, what is the ultimate goal? From there, we talk about different kind of stages, year 1 to 12, and then year below 18, and then 18 and above. Then from there, we got to use different approaches of coaching, such as 1 to 12, it got to be intentional, have to be direct. Yes, no, because that's crucial. And then when you move on to the second stage, so whereby during the puberty stage, we got to change a little bit to coaching styles to help them to understand the context, just to prepare them for the next phase, which is 18 and above. Then from there, it's not about God, you need to do this or need to do that, but it's about how do we build a trust.
That's right.
Right. Wow. So that is very impactful session for us, Daniel.
So, and I think because for my children, they are still very young and at the disciplinary years, I would like to hear from the parents also. You could leave at a comment on if you have children, they are at the training years or even coaching years. You could also help us to understand and help the audience to understand what are the different parenting style that you have. And I would love to learn from you, because I'm still not at that stage yet.
I guess that is really amazing, especially dear audiences from Stellar International School. So feel free to drop us a comment and we'll go through the reviews and probably we could come up something based on that. More towards like a sharing session, right, Daniel?
That's right.
So with this, thank you very much, parents, and I hope that you get a lot of insights out of this session, because I do. So thank you for joining us in this wonderful morning. Happy parenting. See you, parents. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.